So video lesson 2 is going to be all about percents and decimals. You already know a little bit about this right from the video last time, but we have 2 more parts of our foldable to fill in, and so here we go. Don't worry about the table of contents. We filled that all in. And so the foldable is going to be open in the middle where it's talking about decimals. We're going to review how to convert between decimals and then open up the second door where it says percents. So here's the center section. We're going to take a few notes on how to convert first and then do examples like we've been doing all along. When you have a decimal and you want to get it to a percent, the big idea is that you're going to be multiplying by 100. When that happens, just like before, we're going to be moving the decimal point over 2 places to the right. So that's what we're going to write in our center. Move the decimal point 2 places to the right. And if you have room, I'd like you to just have a parenthesis. That is what happens when you multiply by 100. That's what's really going on. You're multiplying that decimal by 100. When that happens, you're going to see the decimal point move just like we did before up above. We're going to do 3 examples here. The first one is 0 and 8/10. When you have this, we want to move it to be a percent. I'm actually going to set this up with the answer and then show my work over here. So I'm going to start with my problem. And I'm going to take this decimal and I'm going to literally move it over here and cross this out and cross out the 0. Because we're moving it 2 places and there's only 1 digit, we do have to annex that 0. What we're left with is 80, and then we add the percent sign. It's as simple as that. But we do want to show that pop. Second example, 0 and 15/100 is going to be what percent? So we're going to come over and we're going to write the decimal as we see it. And then move the decimal 2 places. It is not going to be where it started out. We don't need that 0. And now it's after the 5. So we have 15%. It's going to be very important that you're actually doing this because in the next video, we're going to be dealing with a little bit harder problems. So I want you to get into this habit first. The last example is going to be 3/10, just for fun. You try that one along with me. We're going to write down the decimal point. Then we're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. And so we're going to annex that 0 and end up with 30%. Very simple. Now let's go the opposite direction. So here we have our last portion of our foldable. The last door is talking about percents, and we're going to open up the bottom farthest door, little door on the bottom where it says decimals to take notes on how to convert from percents to decimals. Here's that middle section again where we're going to write some notes to ourselves to remember. The first thing we're going to have to do is find the decimal point literally find where it is in the percent. So within the percent, and I can use that symbol, that's fine. After we've found where the decimal point is in or within the percent, the second thing we're going to do move 2 places to the left. And why is it to the left? Why is it 2 places as well? It's because we are dividing by 100. Remember, percents are always having to do with that idea of 100. It's a ratio comparing something to 100. So when we are manipulating from decimals to percents, we're multiplying by 100. When we're going from percents to decimals, we're dividing by 100. Let's try some examples. Here we go. The first one is going to be 4% is going to be what kind of decimal? I'm going to set that up first. Now I'm going to come over here and actually show you how to do that and show that work. When you write the number 4%, there is not a decimal point in this number 4 that we can see, but there is one there. It's right after the 4 at the end of the number. So this is the decimal point. First we have to find where it is, and then we have to move it 2 places to the left. That means you go around the 4, and we are going to have to annex that 0. So the decimal point is no longer sitting next to the 4. It's no longer a percent. Now that is a percent as a decimal, and it's going to be 0.04. We do need to add that 0 in the ones place, just as a way to formally write that number. Second example, we're going to do 45%. How do we show 45% as a decimal without a percent sign? So I know that I'm going to come over here and write the number 45, and when I have the number 45, the decimal point does exist, and it's right next to the 5. But to change it from a percent, we're going to move the decimal point 2 places, and now it's not going to be at the end, it's going to be right before the 4. And so now I do have to put that 0 to hold the ones place, and then 45 hundredths will be the decimal. Now the last example is going to be a little bit more challenging, where sometimes you will deal with a percent that is less than 1 and greater than 100. It's a little foreshadowing. That's going to be the next video that I do with you. But sometimes we have percents that are in between 1 and 100. That's where we've been living for a couple of lessons now. And sometimes, though, it is possible to have part of a whole percent. So it might be that we see a percentage that looks like 12.2%. That is a possibility to see. It's not above 100, it's not less than 1, but it's not a whole percent. There's 12 of them and then a part of another percent. It's the same idea, it's just that now the decimal point's already in there. So if you are starting out with the number 12.2%, on these two, the decimal point, we actually had to put them in because 4% wasn't a decimal point there, and 45%, we had to put it at the end. Here, it's already sitting in between these 2 2's, so all we have to do to change it to a decimal is move it 2 places from where it is. So sometimes the decimal point will be there, like 12.2. Other times we'll have to stick it at the end because it's a whole number. So this answer will be 0 and 122 thousandths. So here are some examples you can do on that other page that we've been doing all along. You're going to try these first, then see if you're right when I finish them off for you. So 44 hundredths, 69 hundredths, go ahead and try it. So to do this problem, I'm going to draw a line for my answer, but come over here and actually show my work, just like I did with my notes on the foldable. So I'm starting out with the decimal, and remember I'm going to be going to the percent, so I'm going to be multiplying by 100, moving the decimal point over 2 places to the right, and now I have 44%. Same thing with the second one. You have the decimal 69 hundredths. Move the decimal point over 2 places, and you have 69%. Here's 2 that you can try going the opposite direction from percents to decimals. Go ahead and try them. So, again, I'm going to draw a line for my answer and then show my work on the side. 14% doesn't have a decimal point in there. I have to put it in. Where is it? It's actually right at the end of the 4. So to change this from a percent to a decimal, we're going to take the decimal where it is, move it over 2 places, and now I have the decimal 14 hundredths. This percentage is not a whole percentage. It's 99 and then a little bit more, not quite 100 yet. And so I'm going to start off with the decimal as it is, and to change it from a percent to a decimal, I'm going to take the decimal point right where it is, move it over 2 places, and now we have the decimal 993 thousandths. So we're going to convert tomorrow. Look forward to it. Have a good night.